Sports briefing here on New Zealand Sports Radio. Hi, I'm Paul Nob, your host this morning. In the news today, we've got NRL action as round 16 kicks off. Also, the All Blacks named their squad for their game this weekend against Tonga. We've still got finals action in the NBA, as well as Sal's NBL action resuming tonight. Tour de France, we had another sprint stage. Could Cavendish add another stage win on his fairy tale return? Also, the golf kicks off in the PGA European Tour and the LPGA. This is your best way to start the day up to speed with all of the important sports news. And as we said, the All Blacks named their squad for their game against Tonga, with Sam Whitelock will be captaining the side. He has the most caps, 122. Only 3 players in the match day. 23 have got more than 40 caps, with Dane Coles with 74, Whitelock with 122, and Bowden Barrett on the bench with 88. Quinn Tupaea is the only debutant who will be starting in the number 12 jersey, but George Bower, Ethan Blackadder and Finlay Christie could all get their first caps off the bench in the game. Don't forget, that's part of a double header with the Maori All Blacks taking on Samoa beforehand. And do join me tomorrow evening at around about 9 p.m. for post-match reaction to those 2 games. Also, the British and Irish Lions have named their squad ahead of their team ahead of their clash with the Lions. That's on Sunday morning at around about 4 a.m. is kickoff. I'll be live at 6 a.m. with post-match reaction to that one, with 14 changes to the side that played against Japan, as Warren Gatland tries to give all the players starts early in the tour and a chance at selection for the test side. Moving on to the golf then. And we've got action in the PGA Championship with the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Play has been suspended, and with 2 leaders at 7 under par, but about half the golfers haven't actually even teed off yet in that first round. So a long way to go at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Danny Lee, one of those that hasn't teed off yet. Over on the European Tour, it's the Irish Open, with no Kiwis in action in that one. With Herbert leads away 8 under par. Ryan Fox is in action, but he's down in 140th place. Had a very, very poor start on the opening day, and at 4 over par, and you've got to say, already struggling to make the cut for the weekend. In the LPGA, there are no Kiwis. This one's Lydia Ko's not in action here, but JY Ko of Korea leads the way at 8 under par in that one, with the first round still to be completed. Moving on then to the NBA, and the Phoenix Suns beat the LA Clippers comfortably, 130 to 103, to win the series 4-2 and to progress into the conference finals as the representative from the West. They'll find out who they're up against, whether it be Atlanta or Milwaukee. Currently, they are tied at 2-2. So they're going to have to wait a couple of games at least to see who they'll be facing. Leading the way for the Suns was Chris Paul with 41 points, ably assisted by Devin Booker with 22 and Jay Crowder with 19, as well as Dondre Anton with a double-double, 17 rebounds and 16 points as he commanded the boards there. For the Clippers, Marcus Morris Sr.'s 23 points just was not enough, with Paul George also clipping in with 21 points there in that one as they bow out of the NBA Finals. In the Sal's NBL, and it's going to be a busy evening tonight. First up, all these games start at the same time, all at 7:30 p.m. But you've got the Canterbury Rams against Southland Sharks. A tough ask there for the Rams as they look to keep their playoff hopes alive against the Southland Sharks, one of the who were top of the table for a long time, but have just been overhauled recently. Then the Taranaki Mountaineers take on the Wellington Saints. Unfortunately for the Airs, it's going to be a tough. That's going to be a unlikely for them to do much there. The Saints should get a comfortable victory as they look to try and top the table. Finally, it is a big game in the fight for that fourth playoff place. The Nelson Giants against the Auckland Huskies. Auckland Huskies really having come back from the dead to give themselves a good chance there. The Nelson Giants need to win this one if they're to stay in touch in that fight for the fourth place. So that looks like the tie of the evening there between the Nelson Giants and the Auckland Huskies. Moving on to the NRL, and round 16 kicked off with the Roosters hosting the Storm, and the Storm thrashed the fifth place side Roosters 46-0 in that one. A massive win for the Storm, who are top of the table, increasingly looking like you're going to have to go through the Storm if you're going to win the NRL this season. Moving on then to the Tour de France, and yes, it was Mark Cavendish adding another stage, his second stage of the of the Tour, his 50th Grand Tour stage of all time, and his 32nd in the Tour de France, moving him closer to that record that's held by Eddie Merckx with 34. Can he get 3 more stages this year? That would be an incredible comeback for him. But he'll have to wait a few days, definitely, because we're heading into the mountains this weekend. We've got a hilly stage first, and then 2 mountain stages Saturday and Sunday. So he won't be contesting that one. As that will be for the general classification riders who all came through yesterday safely, as the bunch all arrived in there together at Châteauroux, where Mark Cavendish has won for the 3rd time now. In that place, as he said afterwards, all the finishes have been slightly different. He did win here 13 years ago, so wow, his longevity is very impressive, especially for a sprinter. You have now started the day the best way to with all the important sports news. Don't forget, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. to help you start the day the best way. Also, we'll be live straight after the All Blacks versus Tonga to round up that game, plus the Maori All Blacks versus Samoa, as well as live straight after the Lions versus the British and Irish Lions, as British and Irish Lions play their first game on South African soil.